This is the S&P 500 Spider ETF SPY 1 month overview reading for the month of July 2024. It's currently May 26, 2024, 8:56 p.m. Eastern Time. SPY at the time of this reading, $529.44, that's USD. The shuffle video for the July reading was created on May 24, 2024 at 1:12 a.m. Eastern Time. That's a video playing for you in the lower left corner. The overall theme and behavior for SPY in July, we have a decline that will offer an opportunity to open up a long position on a multi-day or on like a one-year chart kind of scale. Behavior, it's crossed, however, with the halting of a bullish trend marked by a sharp decline. Behavior around the highest high, we have sideways rotation, a big move higher out of that sideways rotation, and then more sideways rotation at a higher price level around the high. And then behavior around the lowest low, we have a significant amount of price change on a multi-day scale, taking us into the low, possibly even a unicursal kind of sharp drop into the low. And then at the low, we'll do sideways rotation at key support, and that'll be key support on a one-year chart scale. Now, I'm going to get into the day-by-day chart behavior, as well as timing the highest highs, the lowest lows, and the best trade opportunities. But before I do that, I just want to make sure you're aware. The whole purpose of the channel is to transmute some of the competitive energy of the stock market into goodwill. We do that by following the rule of karma for the channel. You go to the resources tab of our website, Tarot for Traders, and 5% of the profits from every profitable trade utilizing this information should be donated forward to one of these charities, or pick a charity of your choosing, as long as you're paying 5% forward, and then 5% should be sent back to the channel through one of these links. If you're international, you can use Wise, or you can use YouTube Tips, and that leaves you at 90%. Make sure to spend that 90% out of love. As long as you follow those rules, you follow the rule of karma for the channel, the universe considers you an angel investor. It's going to send it back to you tenfold for following through. Blessings to all my angel investors. So let's get back into it. So we have a crest here on the first that we sell off from through multiple support levels. It's a near overbought crest. It might even be more so on the prior day, like the last day of the prior month. But we have this selling off through multiple support levels, and there's a sharp drop at one point here in the day. This ruin here indicates about midday a pretty big move to the downside. Oh, also, so there's a bullish trend in there because we've got that correlation in yellow. So that's a bullish trend into the crest, and then we sell off from that through key support. On the second, there's a decline chewing through support to meet another support. We rotate along that second support for a bit, and then we break down through more supports. On the third, we have a U-shaped dip that forms near the intersection of two perpendicular diagonal trend lines, and this orange correlation to the Ace of Cups, I think actually it more so takes place on the third. The Ace of Cups sometimes marks off the beginning of a decline that offers the opportunity. It doesn't necessarily mean it's like the only part is where the Ace of Cups takes place. Usually, it could be like the beginning or it could be in the midst of it, you know. But there's a low there on the third, a lowest low thus far, and a significant opportunity. It looks like the low here on the third. Price level is difficult, but there's a significant low there and an opportunity in the midst of that low to open up a long position before we hit this highest high thus far here early in the day on the 5th. There's a decline off of that high on the 5th, and then we return back to a peak, a high at the end of the day or at the end of the week as well. So overall kind of like sideways rotation here. A little bit of a drop over the weekend, but then there's this rally into another highest high there before the middle part of the day, and we declined from that high pretty notably into a trough, a prominent trough on a 1-month chart scale on the 9th. On the 10th, we have a period of sideways rotation. Excuse me, on the 9th, we have a period of volatility that ends with a fast sudden move higher. We may see the highest high again here. Hard to say. We'll probably see it one more time here in the second week, somewhere between the 9th and the 11th. So we had it here on the 5th, we had it here on the 8th, probably somewhere again here around the 10th or the 11th. It could be the 9th, but probably the 10th or 11th, somewhere around there. A period of sideways rotation on the 10th that ends with a fast sudden fire, and that takes us into a key technical price level on a one-year chart scale there on the 11th. Yeah, see, there's the science card right there. Right, cross-trading congruency putting us on track as far as the sequence of events in the 1 month. So from that science card price level, we should see a notable decline where we attempt to establish support at another important trough towards the end of the day on the 12th, where we attempt to establish support. Yeah, that science card is that's a full card trade opportunity there on the 11th as well. That's probably where we have the high again there on the 11th. And then we decline there, we attempt to establish support. There's a little bit of a move to the upside at the end of the week there on the 12th, but then we decline pretty notably here over the weekend. Before we go any further, let's take a look and see how we're doing for May. I don't think it was our best reading. It's not awful, but I don't think it was our best reading. I had a highest high and a lowest low in that first few days of the month. We went from a highest high on the 1st to a lowest low on the 2nd, so that was pretty accurate. And then that Ace of Cups opportunity offered opportunity to open up a long position. The very next day you could have closed. Well, you could have closed it same day, or the very next day you could have closed it. Even if you missed out on closing it on the 2nd, you would have been able to close it on the 3rd. So that was a pretty solid trade. Big move to the upside over the weekend into the 6th. And then I have a highest high around the 10th. Another highest high around the 13th, 14th. Looks like I might have missed it. Well, there was also some correlations to the 17th and the 20th, and I'm sure that what I said is, I think this is probably with the high, but there is some possibility of us extending it further out into here. I didn't think it was possible, so not my best work. It ended up being the case, but I did see that it was a possibility based on these correlations. And then we had this decline that started probably taking us into lows next week off of another high. That was the last location where I thought maybe we would see a high. Now, if there's a sharp decline over the weekend, or at the beginning of the day on the 28th, then there's a good chance that this is the highest high again here on the 29th. It's possible. But either way, we're going to have some pretty bearish behavior here in the following week. So unexpected move to the upside. There's that sharp decline into a trough. I saw this lowest low wasn't quite a lowest low, but I also said that I felt it could have been more speaking about the low over here on the 29th, 30th. I think that's probably where the low is for the month. But this overall pretty solid. As far as trades, on the 23rd, I would open up a long position and then I would have closed that long position the very next day with the star card. That wouldn't have been as profitable as I expected it to be, but it was still profitable. Let's see this day trade on the 17th. Yeah, see the orange correlation indicating the Princess of Swords and opportunity to open up a short and then close it and open up a long when we return back to that Princess of Swords. On the 13th, I would have left a little on the table because I would have closed out of long positions there on the 13th. So I would have left a little bit on the table. Even though there was the possibility of going higher, I wanted to be careful about that. So that's what I would have done if I was trading. Overall, not awful. It's not our best work because we expected a lowest low over here somewhere. It's kind of hard to pinpoint it somewhere. And also, there's the possibility that if I'm like wrong and there isn't a lowest low here at the end of the month, then instead there's going to be a highest high right here. So I'd be very, very careful about that. The way that you can get a custom reading done, like you have a ticker or a crypto symbol that you're interested in, you can get a custom reading done here. Under our services, SO MetaPost, scroll all the way down, custom monthly reading, click here to order. This is one of our pricier items, but the information that you get, you can't find anywhere else. Nobody even comes close to the same accuracy or detail. Now keep in mind, we're not right all the time, so never trade like we are, you will regret it. And also give it plus or minus a day of wiggle room here or there, depending on if the sequence of events is right on point or a little bit off. It could be a day here or there, but the sequence of events always remains accurate. So as long as you remember those things and you trade responsibly, you should do pretty good with this information, my friends. Again, found nowhere else, totally undervalued. You just put in the month that you're predicting and the ticker symbol or crypto, specify crypto if it's crypto, and add to cart. Much appreciation to everybody that does that. Yeah, there's a sharp decline here. So I think what happens is we open lower, there's a notable drop over the weekend, also declining on the 15th, but also the yellow there does indicate that there's a bit of a rally. So we might decline, and the decline ends with a fast move higher, and then that fast move higher is then halted by a decline through key support again. But there is an opportunity somewhere here, I think on the 15th or the 16th, there's a full card opportunity. So you would probably close out of a short position that you open on the 11th, you probably close out of it here on the 12th. Open up a partial long position when you close that short position, and then if there's more opportunity on the 15th, on the 16th, which there very well might be, I would add to that long position for a... Okay, this one's a little tricky here, guys. This full card is the exit. For whatever the trade ends up being here, the full card is the exit, but it's a little unclear if you want to open up a short or a long position here on the 15th. Probably a long position based on the fact that we're closing a short position here on the 15th. So probably a partial long, you might add to that long on the 16th, but if you have opportunity to close that long on the 16th, that's what I would do. And then on the 17th, another notable, because there's a reversal there on the 16th. On the 17th, a notable move to the upside. Rally continues into the 18th along a diagonal trend line, ending with a fast move higher, taking us into a highest high for the month, followed by a decline, or taking us into a significant high or possible highest high for the month before declining through that, breaking down through that diagonal trend line with increasing volatility on the way down. And I think there's a pretty significant decline that commences off of that high there on the 18th, continuing into the 19th where we've got cross-shooting congruency for the low. The Valor card is a low significator in the July cluster of the 1 year. So I think we decline off of that high. We probably have a lowest low thus far here on the 19th, 19th or the 22nd, hard to say. There's a prominent peak on the 22nd, and very likely a lowest low on the 22nd. So we decline from that peak probably into, yeah, it looks like at the end of the day, off of a high there. In the second half of the day, there should be a decline. Actually, it looks like there's a prominent peak here in the morning of the 23rd, or on the cusp of the 22nd, 23rd. Possible another prominent peak here and a prominent trough. A lot of price change, and there's a notable decline that commences off of the peak towards the end of the day on the 23rd. That decline takes us in, to and through support on the 24th to meet another support there on the 24th, and then we rotate sideways along that support into the 25th, where we probably, if we don't see the same price level here on the 24th, 25th, probably the 25th, if we don't see the same price level there, I would say that the same price level to the low of the 19th, 22nd, I would say that it's going to be lower. It's either the same price level as the previous lows, or it's a lower one. But it's a support level that can be relied upon in a lot of cases, and we should see a peak at the end of the day. Oh my gosh, I totally forgot to mention, guys. So like when I was doing the July readings, I'm pretty sure I saw Kamala Harris taking over for Biden on the 19th, and then so due to probably some sort of health related thing. And then if it is a health related thing, then it's very likely that he passes on the 22nd. If it's not health related, then I could be off about that. But I feel pretty strongly that that's what I saw, unfortunately for the guy. All right, so a sideways fluctuating rally on the 26th. Yeah, taking us into another high here, another prominent high on the cusp of the 26th or the 29th. And then we have a key resistance level on the 29th that we failed to break through many times before. It's highlighted there on the 29th. And multiple failed attempts to break through that resistance. It's very likely we have a high here as well. This could be a high right here. It's possible. Because it's combined there with, this is a strong correlation to the interference card, which is the high correlator card of the July cluster on the 1 year. No, I don't think it's a high. It's too out of place to be a high there. But it'll be like there'll be like a prominent peak that forms here after the lows that have formed. And then we have another sharp decline. We have on the 30th a poke through key resistance. We stay above it briefly, creating that high, and then we decline back down through that same price level shortly thereafter. Decline continues into the 30th, where on the 30th we have a rally along a diagonal trend line, breaking through horizontal resistance, another resistance, and then pulling back to somewhere between those two price levels. But it's also got the yellow correlation, so at some point there's a halting of a bullish trend there, and a sharp decline through key support. We also have the universal hexagram correlation there. The sneak preview for August, a brief peak that's easily missed, followed by a decline through multiple support levels. Yeah, so I would be picking up partial long here. This is probably the low right here on the 25th. Either that or it's over here on the 1922nd, or it's both. But either way, I would look in the midst of that sideways rotation there and that sharp drop on around the 25th. I would open up a partial long. I would add to that long in the midst of a sharp drop that takes place here on the 31st. If we see another sharp drop, I would add to that long, and I'd be looking to close those longs at that brief peak in August, right, where we very likely come back to significant highs. That's SPY for July 2024. Let me know what you think by hitting that like button. As always, make sure to follow that rule of karma. You know where to go. You know what to do. Blessings to all my angel investors. I'll see you guys on the next one.